And hello and welcome into Q.ED. I've just pulled the earphone out of my ear so I can't even hear what's going on. How are we all doing? Come on in. This is, of course, Colon's Q.ED. This is the Battle of the Debunkers. And we have two mighty contestants with us this week. And first of all, Ugly Jim and Truths, how are you doing? And if anyone doesn't know, tell us all about yourself and what you do on YouTube.
Oh, hello. I'm Ugly German Truths, and I'm a lurker in most of the debunking channels, watching many live streams and such things, and giving my commentary either in the side chat or under the YouTube videos.
Constantly referred to as the human version of Google. Sorry, I've got bad asthma today, so if I cough down the microphone, I am sorry. Ardawen, how are you doing? For anyone who doesn't know you, who are you and what are you doing on YouTube?
Yeah, hello, my name is Ardawen. I am both the producer and the co-host of the Something from Nothing show on the NASA Bunker 33. And aside from that, I have a YouTube channel where I make a lot of different YouTube videos, like some anime reactions and stuff like that. But of course, it's the two cat videos that got the most views that I just made for shits and giggles. So yeah, go cats!
It's always upsetting to be beaten by cats on the internet, isn't it? One of the best videos on my channel was actually my cat, which is really upsetting.
Yeah,
because it was a throwaway video. I made it. It was like 30 seconds. I made it as a joke for 30 seconds, and people like that more than they like me, which really hurt.
You should not wonder. It's a conspiracy with these cats.
Maybe.
What? Maybe cats are secretly the overlords of the world.
It's
so
frustrating.
You're amongst friends. You can be angry at your cat. It's fine. I am. She's actually just behind me, so she can hear what I'm saying. I'm kind of worried she's going to rip my throat out. For anyone who hasn't seen the show before, it's a fairly simple concept. Each contestant gets to see 4 videos. They get a chance to debunk those videos for 2 minutes. If at the end of the round their opponent thinks that they can beat them in a debunk, they do have a right to challenge. They can only do that once per round. Each contestant is limited to 2 minutes of a debunk, and that's it. The person with the most points at the end wins. So, are there any questions from anyone on the panel, or should we just dig on into it?
Let's go. I need to get revenge for the Dutch soccer team. So let's do this.
I've got to tell everyone watching that before we went live, there was somewhat of a discussion between UGT and Ardawen about football, and it was becoming quite unpleasant, almost a diplomatic international incident. So I'm going to try and steer them both away from it.
Good luck.
You should just be happy that we were busy with each other and did not concentrate on the British.
Yeah.
We're not very good at international football.
No.
Well, the Welsh aren't. England does pretty good, but the Welsh, where I'm from, we don't really do it. We're better at rugby. It's more of an us thing.
Oh well. I never watched football, but.
Before this descends into a football show, Ugly Jim and Truths, would you choose a number between 1 and 8, please?
As my good old science teacher always loved to say, sex is always good.
6.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris, from New York, Westchester County. It's October 26th, 2020. And what do we have here? Is this a 2020 legacy? I'm not really quite sure. It looks like it. Let's take a look inside here. Okay? so I can bitch. No, you see what's happening? I mean, don't you see? Like, all of us want to find out where the edge is. We all want to find out what everything is. We all want a true map of the flat Earth. There is no map. We've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now. Maybe many others have done it longer than me. There's no way we can get a map. There's no way we can get any accurate diagram of what we live on, because we don't have the resources. We don't have the money. The government has the money. They know. Because they've been taking all the money out of your pocket. And that's what taxes are. That's why they tax you on everything. Don't you think if we actually lived on a planet and we were spinning in this infinite amount of space and universe, don't you think as a species we would all come together at some point? Governments,
right now,
politicians. But they haven't. They're just so corrupt. And that's how it's always going to be. Until our civilization has come to an end. Which I think it very well might possibly be soon.
So, Ugly Jim and Trues, that is your first video. You have 2 minutes from now.
As always, fabulous deep thoughts from CC from Westchester County, New York. I'm just amazed that his car dealership forgot to tell them what model of car he did buy or rent or whatever, so he had to ask his audience. As for his contemplations, well, he could do things to get to a map. For example, he could take his car and drive across the United States and check if the distances on the azimuthal equidistant projection are correct, or the ones from a normal atlas or from the GPS program that is based on a globe in his car. Getting to the edge, has he even tried? He seems just to make excuses why it's so expensive to do anything about the science of a globe or a flat plane. And decides that it is his good right to not do anything, just to continue thinking hard about it. And I mean, people like Columbus or Vespucci or the other explorers did make maps with equipment that was about as expensive as his nice car there. So what is his excuse? No, I think I'm done.
That's awesome. It's always funny to watch CC, isn't it? It's just.
Oh.
Of course we can't make a map. Of course we can't do this. Of course we can't do that because the government's keeping us from doing it. Pesky government. Yeah. Ardawen, do you think you can debunk that better than Ugly?
No. I have to give it to him, though. I do want to add that it's funny that he's bragging about his beautiful, expensive car. Look at this expensive car, and then he's complaining about money. That was kind of funny. But no, I have to give it to
no sympathy there. In that case, Ardawen, would you like to choose a number between 1 and 8?
Well, let's just say that the power of 3 will set me free. So give me number 3.
Fakery by SpaceX. I mean, it's a complete joke what they're doing, but of course, the mindless zombies, the fanboys of SpaceX are going to buy this garbage without question. They question absolutely nothing that is presented on TV, just like I've shown many times with this quote from former President Richard Nixon. The American people don't believe anything until they see it on television. That's what it all comes down to. And for those that don't understand the whole entire concept of this complete lie, this complete garbage, SpaceX supposedly launches a reusable rocket into space. In doing so, they release the Dragon capsule, satellites, and of course with this supposed last mission that took place was it 2 days ago, basically resupplying, supposedly, of course, the ISS, which does not exist, and the reusable rocket supposedly comes back down for a landing, just like like a pencil. And let's take a look at this footage. It's a complete joke. And before doing so, this is the only vantage point that you're going to get. You're not going to get any other amateur footage. This one shot, of course, by SpaceX released. Let's break this all down here. Let's take a look. As basically the cylinder rocket comes down. I mean, this is... just look at it come through the clouds. What a freaking joke. The cylinder, like a pencil, coming down for this vertical landing. I mean, let's get a close-up look at this garbage. One thing I want to point out, you do not see, basically as it falls out of the sky like a rock, you don't see the use of any type of vertical stabilizer. It's just dropping like a rock. And explain to me, how is this possible? Just by sheer luck, by chance, somehow, this cylinder rocket comes down for a successful landing, supposedly. This is nothing more than fakery, nothing more than CGI garbage. That's all this is. I mean, where's the amateur footage of this supposed landing taking place? Of course, it's not going to be available.
Isn't it?
That's terrible. Ardawen, you got 2 minutes. Go for it.
Well, isn't it nice that they always being so condescending to our side when they're doing this whole debunking thing? And frankly, we kind of do it sometimes too. But listen. If I were faking this, I wouldn't have failed as many times as with re-landing a rocket as SpaceX did. SpaceX did so many public failures with the landings and shit like that. That, come on, man, really a propaganda machine faking all of that and then failing so many times. No, listen, I don't know exactly how it works. I know that it has something to do with probably that the bottom of the rocket is somewhat heavier and that gravity kind of helps with that. I honestly, I don't fucking know, but it to me it's more the not believing in the whole flat Earth thing is more of a thing of like how much can you cover up. Yeah. So I honestly do not know how the whole thing works, but I do kind of. I'm getting kind of hungry from brains for some reason. Maybe he's on to the whole zombie thing, but that's all I got. But yeah, no, it's mostly my annoyance with his uses of wording and the many failures SpaceX had. That's for me proof enough.
It's always funny when they call SpaceX launches CGI because there's a lot of people filming them at the same time.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Either it's some kind of.
It's true. It's like he said somewhere that's the only footage they have. No, man, there's so many amateur videos. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And as for things just falling out the sky straight down, I mean, my pencil managed to just drop out the sky without any stabilizers on it as well. So
and of course there are stabilizers putting it in the initial position, but then yeah. So that's what I have.
It's just that whole CGI thing is just really funny. I am going to award that one to Ugly Jim and Trues.
I just was about to say that I would like to take this debunk from Ardawen because I know how they do it.
Oh,
because for one part on the upper half of the rocket there are these so-called grid fins that are like little wings that can
of course
be steered in the air and control the movement a little bit. And once the rocket motors are running again, they have gimbals on it. That means they can move the direction of the exhaust slightly to the side and steer that way until they reach a vertical shutdown or touchdown.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
Oh.
why is he complaining they do only give him one perspective? Wouldn't it be so much easier if they fake the whole thing to give him 10 perspectives and to say, look, we have 10 perspectives. There is nothing we could fake.
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah.
Instead, they just have one camera because that is all they want to spend money on. And it's never enough.
And they know that there's going to be a lot of the public at the landing site or not far from the landing site making their own videos as well.
Except when it's shut down due to Corona and the people cannot come down to Florida and film.
Oh, maybe SpaceX only fakes things during a pandemic, and then it's some kind of magic sky CGI, just in case anyone happens to look. That's interesting. Okay, let's move on. Ugly German Truths, would you like to choose another video, please?
Let me try the number one.
Number one.
And let's reset it. Would it be easier if I put it on a different monitor? So you
No,
can
it's
see
good.
both at the same time?
You want to put it on one
Oh,
of these?
great. Thanks, Bob.
Cool. I can do that.
Yeah.
Bring it down to this one. Okay. You're running out of battery.
Perfect.
This one's a double whammy, isn't it?
Right now.
Okay. Are you live?
I think so. Yeah, I think there's 10 people already watching.
Where is that showing online now?
Not on
Every
YouTube.
time I hear that voice, I feel
Facebook.
like punching someone.
Yeah.
That explains the situation.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna zoom in on the computer monitors. There we go.
Oh, yep, there I am.
Sweet.
Okay, cool. All right, so what's going on with this? And oh, is that thing moving?
I was moving.
Oh, that's delayed. That's cracking me
Yep,
up. All right.
yep.
So
It's
this
from the moon.
yeah,
that's
that's
a delay.
So this thing actually is mounted to the frame of the aircraft. Okay, so when you mount it on the aircraft, and say my front of my hand is the
Front of the plane.
front of the plane. All right, and you can see this thing right here, which what it is an attitude or an artificial horizon is what it's called. Okay, and down here you have the very, very fine roll, pitch, and yaw. And you can see they're all moving, right? It's just sitting here, but they're all moving. Now, what everybody is most interested in is they're saying, well, you know, that 15-degree-per-hour rotation is picking up the roll. But the interesting thing about what's going on here is you have movement on both on all the roll, pitch, and yaw axes, and it's essentially doing this. So, and what it's picking up, and the reason, you know, this is one of the reasons that I know it's ether, because if it was just Earth rotation, it wouldn't be necessarily acting like this. What's happening is it's picking up a vortex. Imagine a vortex like this that's spinning in above it.
Yeah.
Okay, on multiple axes. This is exactly what that's registering. But on the course method, if I'm on an airplane and just say this is the airplane, let me reset this. If I nose down, right? So now I'm nosing down, and you can see it's dropping below the horizon.
Yep.
And if I pull back, it's going up. And now if I bank to the left,
Boom.
it banks to the left, bank to the right, and then this white dot is the yaw.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got you the angle that you're trying. The
So
direction.
there's yaw, there's pitch, and there's roll.
Okay.
There's the three axes. And like I said, it's just sitting there right now doing nothing. And if I zero it out, you can see it start. And these are the values that it's picking up. So it's not that it's picking up motion, because I can set up my mechanical gyro and it doesn't drift at all.
Nothing. Yeah.
But there is this ether, this luminiferous ether that is in the form of a toroid that is rotating down constantly, and this is registering it.
Yeah.
It's that sensitive.
And we know electromagnetic forces can move light. Just look at a ferrol cell.
Yeah.
You know, so this is not theory. The only theory is that the Earth's move, and we have no natural observed phenomenon of Earth rotation. It's just postulated that this could be proving Earth rotation. But if it was proving rotation of the Earth, wouldn't it have to also calculate around the sun movement? If it's
that's the thing. People want to accept this based on the Sagnac effect that it uses.
Yeah.
But then they will reject the Michelson-Morley experiment, which instead of using an angular or a circular type of light phase detection, it uses a linear.
Linear. Yeah, right? Like LIGOs.
Exactly. And so and that's one thing. LIGO operates, in fact, the LIGO apparatus and the Michelson-Morley apparatus are virtually identical.
Just 2.5 miles long.
Yeah,
Michelson-Morley experiment.
Yeah, Michelson-Morley was obviously.
I almost don't want to ask you this, but what do you make of that, Ugly Jim Truth?
First of all, thanks, Bob. And I think the two master geniuses of Flat Earth played a round of Madlib there, putting in as many concepts that they didn't understand as they could into a minute or something like that. First of all, Bob should maybe try and attach a LED onto a globe at his rough position in North America, then darken down the room and spin the globe and record that on video, and then he will see excuse me, his position will do a certain circle, 3, which is what he alludes to when he says his laser ring circle gyro does show a 3D movement in space. As for the other things, of course, the gyro knows the normal movement around the Earth axis and thus calculates it out when it shows just the position of the plane. So why would it show a plane on the ground to move? That wouldn't be useful for the pilot, and thus it's not given. Otherwise, it worked perfectly fine. Excuse me. As he demonstrated. And finally, why don't they know how to video capture? Why do they use a camera to show what his monitor is showing? I understand why they have to point it at the gyro, but there is no reason why he couldn't do what Cheesemondo is doing with 4 different screens in this live stream and show his artificial horizon on the monitor like it is captured. That's all.
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
It does boggle the mind slightly that they've got a gyroscope running on a computer and they're recording it from a mobile phone. It's like Flurf's got a Flurf.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Ardawen, do you think you can debunk that one better than UGT just did? Would you like to try and
listen, man. I was definitely gonna to, but I'm much too hungry for UGR's word salad cream to attempt now. So I have to forgo this time because yeah.
Okay. In that case, would you like to choose a video?
You know what? I see that Ugly German Truth was being kind of edgy with his one, so let's be just as edgy. I'm going for number 8.
Number 8 it is.
What the fuck?
What's good, YouTube? And this is Seafood Smoke from Smoke's Monocle Arts. And I don't want anyone to think that I'm naked or anything of that nature, but a lot of you trolls need to know what this is. Because a lot of you trolls, you sit on the keyboard all goddamn day, make these comments on YouTube, and you forget to take a goddamn bath or shower. So you trolls, this is your best friend.
So what you're saying is that soap is a troll's best friend.
But anyways, guys, that's not why I'm making this video. I was sitting here and I was thinking about me being a dome earther and a flat earther, and I was looking at the bathwater here, right? And someone brought up a question to me about, well, if the earth was flat, what about the tides? Wouldn't the tides be the same? And I finally found the question of that answer sitting in the bathtub, right? You see how the water's moving, right? See how the water's moving? See how it stopped? It's level now. That explains the answer to tides across the earth. Even with the tides moving, they still stop and become level no matter where they're at, proving a flat foundation. See, this is the problem with these scientists and experimentalists, is they don't experiment. I just proved the tide argument just by sitting in a goddamn fucking bathtub. Fuck your science. True science is science being tested through experimental experiments. That's true science. Fucking Lopez.
Oh dear God.
Oh my goodness. You got 2 minutes. Go for it.
Okay. So yeah. So finding the question to an answer, that is the most flirt thing I ever heard. But yeah. I had no idea that soap was a troll's best friend, but now I guess we know. But of course we all experimented in the bathtub before. And yeah, that is something everyone did. And of course, while experimenting in the bathtub, I noticed that the bathtub is actually kind of tiny, because, you know, when I rocked into the bathtub, I found it funny to rock into the bathtub to get the water over the edge. We all did, right? We all did. And with the Earth, it's of course, the Earth is so infinitely bigger than your stupid fucking bathtub that, you know, of course, it's level compared to the Earth because of gravity, because of the entire fucking size of the Earth. You know, you have to be a pretty big motherfucker to be able to create tides by just moving around in the ocean. You know. So it's not the butterfly effect or anything like that. But yeah, no. Oh man, please don't make any more videos doing in your bathtub, dude. That's just fucking weird. You do you. Experiment in the bathtub all you want. We all love to, but please don't make any videos like that anymore, man. And to whoever chose this video, please don't do this anymore to us, man. This is too much. This is way too much, and that is my time.
Sorry, my sound crapped out there. Oh, we've had a super chat from Theo Fungi for £5, who says experimentalists don't experiment. But going back to your debunk there, Ardawen, I love the idea of just a guy in sat in the sea somewhere, like a giant guy sat in the sea, and twice a day his little Apple Watch goes off, and he's got a push.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a high tide today. Push a bit harder.
You know,
Genius.
He also likes that the water goes over his bathtub. So he's pushing to get the water over his bathtub. Yeah.
Well,
So
it's a
it
nice
seems
change
secret
that
en-
a flat earther understands the concept of bodily hygiene. But why did he have to sit in the bathtub to show this experiment? He could have worn clothes and sat next to it and just shown the water surface so that we could actually see something.
Yeah. He had to do his soap gag, man. I think it was mostly because of his soap gag.
He asked 3 times if we could see what the water was doing, and we couldn't because the edge of the bathtub was in the way.
Which I think we're all quite thankful for.
Yeah.
Because that would have made it a very, very different video.
You could see a glimpse of a dark bathing shorts. He wore something on his lower body.
Oh, that's good.
But then there was a lot of globe on him too, so that was definitely not flat.
I was gonna say thank the universe, but now you put a mental image in my mind, and yeah.
I think we're all thankful for the bath shorts.
Yeah.
Then maybe we should go to number 5.
I'm going to award that one to Ardawen.
Thank you.
I'm going to give a point to Ardawen for that one, just because that's just some batshit crazy stuff. Ugly German Trues. Did you say you wanted number 5?
Yes, please.
Okie doke.
So we've got here the North Pole, which is there on a ball. Then we've got us in Great Britain, which is here on a ball. Then we've got Florida on the ball further down. South America here, the top of South America, and then the equator. They're all rotational planes around the ball. So as we move, using the centre North Pole pivot around that as a pivot, we all move at different speeds in space if we live on a ball. And we should see the sky move at different speeds, dependent on where you are on this spinning ball. And if the stars, look, a single star moves at the same speed from Earth, then stars are moving. If they're moving faster for other people on the ball, the Earth is moving, but they don't see that. The stars all move at the same. One star moves at the same speed for everybody. That's the point. So we rotate. That end's moving slowly. This end's going like a jet on a ball, spinning round. Doesn't work. We don't see that. We're not on a ball. The stars are spinning round us, and we're not moving. This experiment proves the concept. Use your garden gate, stick a couple of mobile phones on it, and move it yourself, and work it out for yourself. Look at the globe they give you, and then do the experiment yourself, and you'll see. Spin that gate, and you'll see. It's not hard. Going like a jet, hardly moving. 0.006 mile an hour that's supposed to be going, and that's going at 1,000 mile an hour. Doesn't work.
Ugly German Trues. You've got 2 minutes. Go for it.
Well, I don't remember his name, but I remember the video, and it is clear from what we saw that the gate was the most intelligent participant in it, because it wasn't willing to take part in this experiment. Only answer I can give to him is scale matters. And if this gate of 4 meters maybe is supposed to be the distance from the North Pole to the equator, then the closest star at 4 light years would be what? 3/4 of the distance to the moon or something like that. I doubt that his action cam can really get a good picture of that star moving or not moving during his little gate shoving experiment. He also should have taken a little time and went at night when he actually could see the sky that he meant. So, useless experiment. Totally didn't get the point. Typical flat Earth video. And I give up the rest of my time.
That's absolutely fine. The most intelligent participant was the gate. That's superb. I forgot to say this round is going to be judged by the audience, so I'll be putting a poll up at the end of Ardawen's video. I'll put up a poll, and the audience will decide who gets the points on this round. So there'll be a poll appearing at the top of the screen. It'll be the usual exclamation point vote and a number in the side chat, and you all know what you're doing because you vote for things all the time. So, Ardawen, do you think you can debunk that one better than I do German Truths?
No, I also know him as Gate Guy. And all I have to say is Gate Guy, yeah. Gate. And I have to say, man, the Earth is not a gate. So that's all I have to say. The Earth is not a gate. And no, I give this one to German because no.
Awesome. Would you like to choose a video?
Yeah, let's go for number 7. Then that whole side is filled, and we're all still a lot happier.
Because I honestly do believe the Earth to be flat, and I know that sounds insane, but it's if you can get past the what in my opinion is the purposeful perception of the flat Earth that is put out there, because I guarantee you what you think the flat Earth is, I also think that's ridiculous, and I don't believe that. So if you gave any of my videos a little bit of a chance, I think you'd be highly entertained, and I think you'd have to ask some pretty difficult questions, especially if you're a Christian and a Bible believer, because I do believe the deception is a purposeful evil one by the devil. And just to give you a little bit of scripture, in Romans 1, it says that we can get to know the invisible attributes of God, including his eternal power, through the things that were made. And because of that, man is without excuse. So if man is able to get to know God through the creation, of course, there's going to be an evil agenda to dilute that. And the way you dilute something is you pour it into something bigger, like infinite space, and you convince people that they're insignificant. And you also disprove everything that's on page 1 of Genesis, which and when I was in my 20s, reading physics books and astronomy books, I didn't want to read page 2 of the Bible because page 1 sounded like nonsense. And with the flat Earth model, in my opinion, the biblical enclosed flat Earth model, everything makes sense. And yeah, it's quite the conspiracy. But I tell you, I'm convinced. And one thing you'll find out is that for every piece of evidence that you may or may not think proves the globe, both sides are going to tell you their explanation for it. You know, something as simple as sunrise, sunset, circumnavigation, not falling off the edge. These are things that people think prove they live on a ball, when in fact I would say they simply correlate to a ball. They're not caused by a ball, and that the enclosed biblical model actually has explanations for all that. And if you can get past those first few little deals and look into it, you'll start to see that, like, man, it's actually really hard to, on your own, without the help of government or anything like that, prove that you live on a spinning ball.
Oh dear.
Go on, I hate you less and less. So
You've got 2 minutes. Go for it.
Okay, listen, man. This whole Sky Daddy argument, like I used to believe in the Sky Daddy too, right? Despite that, even my kind of belief was still based on a couple of Bronze Age goat herders stories to each other. I still was kind of like, listen. Isn't it awesome how God created the entire universe where we were one tiny speck on? I thought that actually added to the power of this Sky Daddy, this imaginary Sky Daddy. And I really don't get flat earthers, because to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, to me it downgrades a deity. Instead of this endless universe with all these stars and planets and etc., it's this tiny pizza where a couple of lights are floating around, and oh yeah, God snapped his finger once, and some animals and humans once disappeared instead of this whole evolution thing. And I always felt that young Earth creationist and flat earthers kind of downgrade God, even though I don't believe anymore. That kind of bungled my mind. And that is all I have to say, because the rest, we talked about it so many times.
Awesome, thank you. So, audience, this is your chance to vote. The poll has opened. You can see the chart at the top of the screen there. It tells you how to vote. If you vote for Ugly German Truths, vote 1. If it's for, it says other, and it should say Ardwin. But anyway, if you want to vote for Ardwin, vote 2. I don't know why it says other at the top. That's really upsetting.
Story of my life.
So,
are you sure that the audience is still awake? The music was so soothing and his words were so nonsensical. I found it very
okay. Votes are coming in. Just to remind you all, you're voting 1 for Ugly German Truths and 2 for Ardwin.
Yeah. Oh man!
In the meantime,
my mind is still broken over the guy in the bathtub. It's what the hell is that, man? Like, holy shit.
Like I typed in the side chat, everybody was kung fu bathing.
Yes, and then like the movements in the bathtub, and why would you even make a video in the fucking bathtub? And it's like, oh man. It's yeah. If you're probably not watching this, and you probably can't even understand me with my amazing accent. But please don't do that again.
It's a tie so far. Oh, somebody break the tie. It's a tie. It's 50-50 each way. Come on, side chat, keep voting. There's more than 8 of you in the side chat. I know that.
Where's Boomer where's Boomer when you need him, right? It's
Oh no, I don't know what to do, because that was a tie and the poll ended. What do we do? There's no provision in the rules for this.
I think that Slim. I think that Slim just broke the tie.
It just.
I think that Slim just broke the tie.
No. He voted after the poll closed. Who did Slim? Okay, who did Slim vote? Slim voted. Slim. Okay, it's all on Slim Living Cyborg. Then I'm going to look and see, because it was a tie when the poll closed.
Slim voted for German.
Then Ugly German Truths it is. Very sorry, Ardwin, but Slim and Living Cyborg did that.
Absolutely fine.
So it's 2-1 to Ugly German Truths, which brings us into the last round.
Ooh. And I was already wondering if I should rename myself to Ugly Argentinian Truths to evade this hatred of all things German.
There's no hatred of all things German.
Yeah, but Argentina also
unless
out of the World Cup a couple of times. So thank you very much for that, Mr. German.
I was going to say, unless we start talking about football again, which we're not going to. Because you're both banned from talking about football.
I still believe in the power of orange.
I'm not truly qualified to talk about football, so...
I know that it involves a ball and a foot.
Okay, ugly German Trues, would you like to choose the last video, please?
I'll go with number 2.
So Coriolis here, we don't feel the spin, so it's not spinning. We could end it there, I guess. We'll do one more. They'll say, oh, but it's not spinning fast, because yes, it's 1,000 miles an hour, but it's only 1 revolution a day, so it's not that fast. And I would be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because if you had a whole bunch of NASCARs going around a track, right? And somebody was like, wow, those cars are flying, man. How fast are they going? And you go, oh, they aren't going that fast because they only make it around the track once a day. All right, this is what they call a lunar or solar eclipse. I don't even give a shit. It's a visual event in the sky which I can replicate and duplicate exactly on a screen, which means it can possibly be a screen. So you can't say that it has to be matter orbiting matter in a vacuum, then the rock gets in the way of the sun, which is a ball of fire, which we'll get to, and that's blocking it out. You can't say that unless you can demonstrate the principles and properties of matter which allow that to happen in reality. I can demonstrate a screen doing exactly what you see in the sky. So until you can do that exact same thing in reality with balls and a light,
I need more drugs.
The audio was getting a little bit shaky towards the end there, but I think we did not miss anything. Can his screen also replicate that? Can his screen also replicate that we can see craters on the moon that have shadows inside them that are exactly in the same direction as the Terminator line? Can he replicate that the Terminator around the moon always does follow a curved line as it would on a sphere? Can he do this little thing on the Earth with putting a small ball on a stick and holding it into the sun to show that it has the exact same lighted side and dark side as the moon has in 400,000 kilometers distance? He simply ignores that people with better equipment and more knowledge than him can show that the moon is a three-dimensional object that can throw shadows on its own surface. And same for the sun. Better telescopes that have solar filters can show that there is movement on the surface, that there are sunspots that move over the surface in a curved pattern, and can show protuberances and what else. It's not just a spot that is very bright, it's a three-dimensional object, and that means our best possible explanation is the sun is a ball of plasma that gives off its own light due to being hot, and the moon is a big rock that gets its light from the sun and reflects a lot of it back to us, and we have proof for that. There is no reason to doubt it, you just need to look into the proof, and everything is said and done.
There you go, talking about evidence and things again. It's just not going to fly with Nathan, is it? Ardawen, do you think you can steal that away from ugly German?
No, I mean, we can talk about the whole rotation thing and how the Earth is so enormously big that one rotation of 24 hours of such an enormous side would be is actually pretty slow. But you know, it's something we've heard so many times before, and I can't understand why that's so stupid that I don't understand. I think it says a lot about the education in the world. I mean, if is everyone so poorly educated that they can't even imagine? I mean, I also haven't been all that, but I've at least been educated enough that I can imagine that, that people tell me like, oh yeah, if they explain it like that, I can imagine how that works, yeah, and it boggles my mind.
Sorry, I totally forgot that he started out with his people are getting thrown off the globe due to its spin. But he talked about NASCAR, and you can test it yourself. If you go with your bike in a small circle of 2 or 3 meters at 10 kilometers per hour, you will fall down because it's too close, it's too narrow. And if a car goes a big circle of a kilometer diameter at 10 kpm, it is easily to handle because it's not a big speed for that circle and that movement. So size does matter, and just because he doesn't understand it doesn't mean he has got a point.
Absolutely. Poor guy. Everything must be so confusing to him. Ardawen, you are left with number 4.
Number 4 will bring me more.
Here we go.
Numpty Burke. The angular velocity at every single latitude is the frigging same. It's 1 revolution or radians per unit time.
Was that all?
And that's a really short. That's it. That's a really short video.
I hardly got what he was saying. No, I really mean it. I really mean it. I hardly got what he was saying. It was so short.
That was kind of a short video.
Great against them that Ardawen can see what he said.
Yeah.
Just repeat it. It was so short.
Yeah, I was grabbing my pen and he was already done.
Which video was that? Which number 4, wasn't it? Okay, here we go again. It is really short.
Numpty Burke. The angular velocity at every single latitude is the frigging same. It's 1 revolution or radians per unit time.
Okay. Yeah, so what is his point? I mean, there is not what it's. I imagine that he means like, oh, doesn't matter where you are on the globe, a day is a day. But and that kind of proves that Earth because that's that. But it's. I can't even. I don't even understand what kind of weird point he's trying to make. That's the thing. Like if he made his video like 5 or 10 seconds longer, then I could understand what kind of point he's trying to make. But now I'm like, yeah. So your point is, and the video doesn't explain what his thought process is. So I'm going for use Yars's word salad again because. I don't even know what he tried to say. Yeah, I already see that the time isn't even running. I mean, yeah, I have no idea what he's even trying to say, and it might be dumb. Okay. Maybe people that hear that know what he's trying to say think like, why is he so stupid? But no, that's
If you don't know, you don't know. Ugly Jim and Trues, do you think you might be able to steal this one?
I have to agree with Ardawen. I don't know what his point is. He sounds like he's simply stating a fact that I cannot disagree with. But he is mightily angry about this fact and is shouting like he was personally insulted by angular velocity. And of course, I have to point out that his true choice of fonts and colors is still a crime against humanity. Nothing has changed there.
No, yeah.
But other than that, Ardawen said it perfectly.
You know, I was happy. I was afraid. I was afraid it was because I'm still in mourning because of Fluffy dying. You know, being brutally murdered by Gary. But I'm glad that people are in agreement. Yeah.
I think what happened in that video is that it's Quantum Eraser admitting that the globe spins.
Yeah. At 24 hours per rotation.
Yes, so he's completely aware of how the globe model works, and he was able to explain it, or close to perfect. At least he admitted it.
Globes do not have different belts of different velocities around their surface, but that the whole surface spins as one.
So yeah,
in the just for the benefit of anyone who can't see the side chat, Colin has just written, and I'm going to turn my head while I read it, so I'm very sorry. Colin wrote, QE said, rotates at the same speed at every latitude. He debunked every argument he's ever made with one statement.
Oh, yeah. Well,
poor guy.
So I was right.
So I
was right. We were kind of right in that he stated something that yeah, you're right, man.
But isn't that why they usually go with 1,000 miles per hour and don't talk about angular speed? Because that is what debunks their whole argument?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what is that boggles me from this argument. It's weird.
And then he just throws it out there for everyone to hear. Awesomeness. I'm going to award that one to Ugly German Truths, because the comment about colours and fonts being a crime against humanity was
fair enough. Yeah.
It's just superb. Ah, that was great. Thank you both so much. Ugly German Truths, your prizes, you get to shill anything out. Tell us whatever you want to know. Is there anything you want to tell us? Anything you want the audience to know? Anything you think we need to know?
Just come and meet me again in the side chat at the Silly Shills show in a few hours.
Excellent. Awesomeness. Ardawen, I wouldn't normally say this, but is there anything you want to tell us? Anything you need to know? Anything you want to shill out?
Yeah, of course. We have the NASA Bunker 33. We are going to talk about alternate resurrection myths, which is going to be a lot of fun. And the Americans, a few hours earlier, are going to talk about what is it? Sykes-and-Hammer 666. I don't know who he is, but they're gonna debunk him, and I trust that my American friends are gonna be perfectly great. And of course, we're also tomorrow. Boomer and I are going to remember our dear friend and pet Fluffy, who was brutally murdered last week by an American gunman called Gary. And we're still pretty angry. We don't know how he got into the garbage chute and got shot out of the garbage chute. Boomer was there the whole day keeping guard, and for some reason the security locks and everything was gone. And our departed friend Fluffy, my dear pet, he's gone now, murdered, and we're still very sad.
It sounds very, very sad.
Do you have any idea if the flat earther from the early bunker show has got 22.2 times more arguments than the NASA bunker 33?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Oh, good grief. Well, congratulations to Ugly German Truths. Thank you so much for both being here. Side chat, thank you all for coming. Thank you to everyone for watching. If anyone does want to give Ugly German Truths a round of applause in the side chat, that would be greatly appreciated. I will be on with the Shills later. Check out my channel for the after show. And I am running the On Call for with the ladies tomorrow. And with that in mind, Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.